No, it was racing was dangerous. You could get killed driving a race car.
Yeah.
You know, and I guess I look at it a lot of time. I think, what was I thinking? I didn't mind getting in a car and running 200 miles an hour and hitting a wall, but I was scared of heights. I didn't go snow skiing or water skiing because I was afraid I'd get hurt. And so people couldn't quite put two and two together. How could you be afraid to go skiing and you're not afraid to get in a car? Well, in the car I was in complete control, and I did in my mind think that it was always somebody. It would always happen to someone else. They didn't know what they were doing. They took an unnecessary risk. They got themselves in a situation, and that's why that happened. And so I could convince myself and my friends and my wife particularly that it's not these cars. It's they make guys make mistakes. That's how they get injured. That's how they get hurt. And then in 1983, it happened to me. I'd come off of two of the best years anybody'd ever had in the sport. I won the championship in 81, 82. I won 24 races and 18 poles and everything you could win driving for Junior Johnson in that Mountain Dew car. We were invincible. I mean, you couldn't beat us. So I was at the peak of my career, I guess you'd say, and feeling very confident, and never really thought about getting hurt. People around me would get hurt. People around me got killed, but I never thought it would happen to me. And then in '83 at Daytona, I was running the Daytona 500, and there was a car slowed in front of me, and it was either hit the car or spin my car out. I spun my car out and backed into a dirt bank with a guardrail. And thinking back, which I had a concussion, so I don't remember a lot about what happened, but it's funny how things come back to you through the years. But I remember I was going backwards at probably 160 miles an hour. I know I'm going to hit the wall backward with the car going back. And I remember, and this happened because I had a similar thing happen to me, and it was like a flashback. But I remember leaning forward because I was going backwards. And as I thought about it, I said, you're leaning forward, you're getting ready to hit the wall backward. What's that going to do to your head? Whack! If I'd have been smart, I'd have been leaning back and waiting for the impact. But wow. you don't, it's split second. So you don't have time to think about that. Had a serious concussion. And they took me to the hospital, and I came to, and back in those times, they didn't have the technology we have today, so they couldn't test you for anything. You had a headache, yeah, well, it takes some Tylenol. And I went to the hospital, I came to, they checked me over, I didn't have any broken bones. They sent me on from Daytona home. And we drove, back in those days, we drove everywhere. So we got in a van, Stevie and I did, and we're driving back to Tennessee. And Stevie said I was driving erratic and not making real good sense, and which is not totally uncommon for me, or that I could be that way. But anyway, so we get home, and the next week is Richmond, Virginia, is the next race. I went to Richmond, Virginia, and raced. I didn't win. I think I finished third. Went to Richmond, Virginia the next week. Then the next week we were in Rockingham, North Carolina for our next race, third race. That race got rained out. We ran a few laps in the Rockingham race, and it got rained out, and so we came back the next week to finish the race. And in the time from the Rockingham to going back to finish the race, I woke up.
Wow.
I had left Daytona. I didn't remember Daytona. I didn't remember Richmond, and I didn't remember being at Rockingham.
How many weeks?
The week before. That's 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
So it took me 3 weeks before I finally realized that I'd been basically unconscious for 3 weeks.
Wow.
Raced. People, people weren't aware that there could be something wrong with you then like they are now.